I check my DMs, I read the comments, and I'm noticing a pattern that the mainstream media refuses to talk about. Younger men are exhausted. They're exhausted by their own generation. They're tired of men who are flaky, anxious, twitchy, and performative. They're tired of soft masculinity that needs constant validation just to survive the day. They aren't coming to older men because they have daddy issues or because they want money. They're coming to you because they are starving for gravity. Today, I want to explain why the era of soft masculinity is dying, and why, if you are an older man who has his act together, you are the most valuable asset on the dating market. My name is Frank Schneider. My friends call me Fritz, and this is Daddybear America. The modern dating pool, especially the younger generation, which dominates the current dating pool, is high anxiety. They grew up in an age of the internet. They're considered a digital-only generation, and so therefore they're looking for safe spaces, trigger warnings, and unfortunately SSRIs, antidepressants. They're the Ritalin generation, or Adderall, I guess is the new hot ticket. These are children who grew up with helicopter or bulldozer parents that protected them as they went through the school system. And now they're hitting the job market and the dating scene, and they're looking around at their fellow dating companions. And what they see is high anxiety. And this is expected. They grew up on the internet. And let's face it, the internet is constantly trying to steal your attention, and quite effectively. This is a high vibration society. They're jittery and they're twitchy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I suppose it's somewhat normal for a younger generation to have these attributes. And to some extent, I remember when I was hitting the dating market, I probably had some of these attributes as well. One of the examples I give is thinking back when I was just hitting the dating market. Sex and the City was a big show on HBO. And Carrie Bradshaw, who was played by Sarah Jessica Parker, was a 20-something, or actually a late 20-something, who was dating an older man. And this was sort of, I related very closely to this story. So she was dating a lot of guys, not a lot, but like every episode was a different guy. But there was this constant reoccurring character named Mr. Big. Now, Carrie in this was constantly testing Mr. Big. He was this sort of character of stability and also would not commit. And so he was just there, and he was kind of selfish in his own ways. But ultimately, he was a fairly stable, balanced guy. When you saw him, you knew who you were going to get. It was Mr. Big, and he was always kind of the same. Maybe not as committal as Carrie wanted him to be. But Carrie was constantly looking for more, constantly trying to test him, test his love, test his ability to nurture her. And time again, she would apply this test that she knew he wouldn't pass. And sure enough, he failed. This is what I see from the younger generation today. So I can draw a similarity between where I was in my early 20s and where I see the current young generation today, twitchy, anxious, on vibrate. And then you compare that to the idea of Mr. Big. And let's move out of the Sex and City comparisons. Let's just say older men in general, especially if you're an older man who has his act together. Sort of the dad energy. Like, I can take care of this. Oh, you need, help with this thing that you don't know about? Say you're speaking to the younger generation. I know about that. I've been there. And this is the dad energy that a lot of older men have to offer, especially if you are balanced and stable the way that we think of dads, even though in reality maybe they weren't always. This is how we like to envision dads. That they're the stable energy that can help us when we really don't know what to do. I usually refer to this balanced, stable energy as masculinity, and it isn't toxic. It's biologically attractive. We are hard-coded to look for male leadership masculinity in the form of stability and balance and all these other things, calmness, stoicism, that are ingrained in the masculine model, specifically within America, in the United States, but it's universal and it's around the entire globe. I think some older guys see younger men, think of themselves as when they used to be younger, and specifically that type of competitive nature, and want to still be young. This is a losing battle, and I strongly recommend, if you're an older man, inhabit your older manness. This is an elder masculinity that can't be replicated by youth. The desire here is not that you can compete with youth. The desire for you is being a strong, stable, calm, masculine, older man. Younger people see this and they are absolutely drawn to it. They want to be around it. They find it alluring and attractive, and most younger women and younger men find it deeply attractive and sexually attractive, even if they don't want to admit it. So the winning play here, the power, is that you are the elder, the older man, the adult in the room. So let's bring it back to the comparison of Sex and the City, and we'll look at what Mr. Big, why all of a sudden he was attractive to a young woman. Well, he was masculine. Unquestionably, in this case, heteronormative, if you want to use these fancy university terms, gender studies courses terms. Fine, he was heteronormative, and it was hot. Mr. Big did not apologize. He was who he was. And sometimes that wasn't right for a younger man or a younger woman. But in a lot of cases, it was deeply attractive and totally unapologetic. So if you're an older man, I suggest, first of all, be comfortable with who you are. Stop apologizing for being an older man. Inhabit it. Love it. Become the masculine man you were always meant to be, that you were growing into all of this time. It is wildly attractive to so many young men who are starving for somebody just like you, who has his act together, who, sure, is a little older, maybe has some gray hairs, and has a ton of experience, has lost that flaky, anxious energy that maybe we had in our youth. We grew up in an age before the internet, before HBO, Sex and the City, before the internet even existed, before cell phones. And so we know of a world that they simply just don't. We didn't know about safe spaces. We didn't know about trigger warnings. And that means we weren't protected from the reality of what is true life. And that means we have a ton of experience to offer a younger generation who doesn't know a world that we grew up in. So I think there was a period in the last 2 decades where there was a shift toward youth energy, and that was considered attractive. And I think that pendulum is swinging back. And I think older men are all of the sudden swinging back into style, and that younger men are looking for opportunities and experiences to find that stable, solid stoicism, that wisdom that older men have that younger men don't. Ultimately, younger men and younger women are looking for the mountain. Just as climbers look for the mountain, so be that mountain that they can look towards as a goal, that they can get to you, and maybe they can climb on. I like saying that. Anyway, so in closing, guys, especially older guys, you have so much to offer, and there is a generation desperate for the energy that you have to show them. And guys, let's show them that energy. And what better than to take a younger man or a younger woman and let them experience your energy. So don't apologize for your age and your lack of flakiness, your lack of anxiety, and your lack of twitchy energy. This is all positive upside all around. And you have a ton of experience and world knowledge to share with the younger generation, especially sexually. So this is the perfect opportunity to get on a dating site or these shitty apps, or maybe a meetup where you have gays from around the community where you get together for coffee, or maybe at a bar and maybe they're doing drinks. These are all opportunities to meet new people of your age group and a younger age group. And again, they're looking for someone like you with your wisdom, experience, and energy. So that is this episode, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time. If you loved it or liked it or just mildly was entertained, click the subscribe button. We're coming out 2 episodes a week. Do me a favor and click the like button. It helps me with the algorithm. If you want to support this channel and you like the message that I am resonating here with, then click the join button. It gives me about the price of a cup of coffee to help me to buy equipment and write fresh scripts for you on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis. And I will see you in the next episode. Peace.